Welcome back everyone to 10 Minutes with Miss Campos. Thank you for joining me once again in this week 3. We are in day 1 of our intervention session. So just like we learned about different tiers of vocabulary word in our week 1 intervention session, there are also different levels of questions that help us understand what we read. In this lesson, I will show you 3 different types of questions that are very important for all readers to know. I will show you how to answer these questions using text evidence or words from the text. How do these questions help us understand what we are reading? How do they help us improve our reading skills? Watch closely and I will show you how. So there are 3 types of questions that help a reader understand the text a little bit better. The within the text questions, the beyond the text questions, and the about the text questions. So let's take a look at one by one and find out what they are about. The within the text questions are right there in the text, and all you have to do is reread to find the answer. Those are the literal questions. Questions that require the reader to recall what they read, to recognize the information the author is giving you in the story so far. So those who, what, when, and where types of question. When I talk about text, I refer to stories, a book, anything that we can read. The beyond the text questions are not right there. Even if you go back and reread, you can't take the words out of the text to answer the question. This requires some thinking on the reader's part. So a lot of it is going to be inferring. It is not right there. You have to take the text and think about it in your mind and then make an inference. So it involves a lot of connecting with the text, predicting what might happen next, or summarizing what you just read. These answers involve a lot of your thoughts about what you read, and it could be different from reader to reader. The about the text questions dig a little bit more deeper than our within and beyond. These require the reader to analyze, to criticize or judge the author's craft or the text structure of the story. So this involves the opinion of the reader based on what they read and brings it all into a conclusion. Analyze the information that the author presented to you and think about, why did the author present it this way? Why did the author choose this text structure to give out this information? So the level of questions go from the right there to the ones we have to think, and to the ones that we have to think a little bit deeper. An example of within the text question can be a who question. Who was the antagonist in the story? Recall, how did the story end? How did the characters solve the problem? An example of a beyond the text question would involve making a connection. What does this story remind you of? Or a prediction. Predict what will happen in the next part of the story. It can also be an inference. How are the characters the same in this book series? Examples questions for about the text can ask you to analyze the author's craft. Why do you think the author included this information in the story? Why did the author use this word to describe something in the story or a character possibly? Another question could be about text structure. What text features do you notice and how did it help you understand the book? Or it may ask you to critique the text. How could the characters behave differently? So here I will leave you with an example of questions that I would like you to categorize into the 3 different types of questioning. The questions within the text allows you to go back and reread to find your answer. The questions beyond the text requires the reader to use the information from the story and then what they think to answer the question. Questions about the text requires the reader to think about the author's craft or the text features the author decided to use to present the information. Take a look at these questions. So now you have learned the 3 different types of questions that help our comprehension or understanding of the text. Now you know how to answer them using text evidence. Use this strategy as you're reading. Ask yourself, what is it that you should take away as a reader? Analyze the techniques that the author used. Look for key ideas right there in the text, and also think beyond the text and make those connections. Continue to extend your mind as you read so you can strengthen those reading skills that you already have. Stay tuned for our day 2 intervention session coming up, and until next time, thank you for joining me.